Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ned Dennison. I'm the chairperson of the International Marathon Swimming Hall of Fame. I have two special guests with me. We have honoree Michael Reed, MBE from the Channel Swimming Association. Mike, please say hello.
Good evening, everybody.
And we've got Peter Van Voren, who's been a stalwart in the management of the Channel Swimming Association for quite a long time and following his father for quite a long time as well. Peter, say hello.
Good evening and hello, everybody.
The English Channel, one of the biggest challenges in the sport of marathon swimming, and certainly the swim with the longest, most illustrious history. We can argue the toss, but about 33 kilometers on a straight line between the coasts, 14 to 18 degrees centigrade, possibly on average, busy shipping channel, weather conditions influenced by the Atlantic, the Arctic, storms in the Sea of Biscay, and the occasional beast from the east, i.e. Siberia. A quick look at the number of crossings with two ways counting, it's probably just under 3,000. Swimmers from Great Britain have about 30% of those, and swimmers from Great Britain, US, Ireland, and Australia, about 60%. All of the boats and pilots are based in Kent, and the language of the associations, pilots, Coast Guard, annual events is primarily in English. The combination of social media, email, lower cost airfares, and the local English Channel role models in 86 different countries are making it more popular around the world. The Channel Swimming Association honor organization has an excellent record of striving to be an international organization. Mike and Peter in leadership roles for many years. Guys, please help us understand the CSA ethos. Was this international part of the CSA DNA? Or is it something, Mike, that got introduced during your time in management?
Hello. Oh, so Glyn, can you ring me back in about half an hour or so, please?
Obviously, an international swimmer looking for help.
How about that for perfect timing?
Mike, was the international emphasis, was that there when you joined the management of CSA, or is it something you brought in?
The Channel Swimming Association has definitely been an international organization from 20 years before I ever thought about it. I would love to be the person to take the credit for it, but no, we've got to be quite sensible about it. The 1920s, almost the beginning of the Channel Swimming era, was successfully conquered by swimmers from Italy, Lebanon, United States, Egypt, Sweden, Canada, Turkey, Denmark, and so the list went on. And so we were given a flying start to be an international organization. And then throughout the 1950s, we were very fortunate to be supported by the Daily Mail and then by Billy Butlin. And again, they brought a huge number of international swimmers. So no, we've been international almost from the first day.
Tell us a little bit about your present management structure, your board, your committees, your representatives. Peter, why don't you take this one?
Well, our board is built up by a chairman, and I'm the one chairing for the moment. I'm supported by a vice chairman, and then the third key person is Mike as treasurer, and Mike is also having the honorary title of president of our association. And then we have another a secretary out of the board who is doing all the daily management and keeps everybody in the loop of the board, and another 5 or 6 board members fully elected and joined by 3 co-opted board members. The board of the Channel Swimming Association is also built up international. I'm a Belgium guy, and we have Scottish people in the board. We have Sirkantis, help me, Mike, Sirkantis, Indian.
We have people from South Africa, Howard James. We've got Sirkant from India.
Enrique is Mexican.
Could be Mexico. and there was Montserrat Tresras from Spain. And we've got Stanley Paris from the United States.
Yep.
So we've had a wide spread of international figures in the last 20 years.
And I think for me, one of the interesting things is, Peter, when you go down to buy bread on an average day, you're probably not speaking English to the baker.
No, I'm Dutch speaking, but I defend myself in English, and I also can manage to speak French.
And I
So
think
to help on the international way, it helps. It helps.
I think as well, it's a mindset, which is not everyone speaks English as their first language. Not everybody speaks English fast. Not everybody understands everything happening in English. And I know that when English isn't the first language, you have a better awareness of these facts. Tell us now, you talked about international representatives and you started dropping names like Algeria, Hong Kong was another one. Give us some idea of the range of representatives you have around the world.
Gosh, we're very ready and willing to accept help from anybody who has swum the channel. And only today I was thinking, I'm not sure if we've got anybody in Costa Rica. And in the last 2 years, we've had 2 swimmers from Costa Rica. But yes, we've got representatives from Algeria to Vanuatu. It's that wide, and it's wonderful that the international swimmers want to be our international representatives, and we're very proud to have them, and we greatly appreciate their help. And of course, the one thing that's absolutely amazing is that they have done it, so they can explain things to their colleagues in their own language, in utter confidence.
Yeah, I think it's there's been a lot of change in marathon swimming over the last X number of years. Some of the change by professionalism has been really, really positive, but at the same time, the volunteer ethos that you get from representatives like that is a really, really powerful part of the sport. People who are proud to serve, who are delighted to help. And I can imagine a young swimmer signing up for the channel and being contacted by almost a hero in their country saying,
Yeah.
look, I saw you're signed up. How's it going? Do you know what feed means? And do you have a crew sorted?
And the answer very often is no.
Yeah. How are you leveraging social media to educate your swimmers and crew better?
You want to have a go, Peter?
Well, we have a website which contains a lot of information, and on the social media side, we are very lucky to have a very adequate and a very comprehensive secretary who's very good in those items. So we have a website page, we have a Facebook page, I think we have Instagram, I don't know, but Twitter. She's managing quite well, and we have an extra help there from behind the scenes as well, from her husband, who's an IT specialist. So yes, we're running.
You're cheating. You're cheating.
We're not cheating. We're lucky, and by recognizing him as well as a friend and a handyman, a help, we manage, and we're up to date. Let's say we're up to date on social media, so people can find us. If they look for Channel Swimming Association, they will find us.
I guess my last question is, I've had the pleasure of being to your celebration dinners. I think the last one was Dover Town Hall before it was being renovated. Hundreds of people, people making the investment to come from all over the world to to relive some of that joy for their channel, often bringing the proud partner or parents or children with them. So when all these people sign up, are you looking down the list going, they could be a representative, they could be a representative, and do you have a special way of bringing them into the loop?
The answer to that is no, because yeah, we've got an established list, and on top of that, if someone is from a new country, then there's a good chance that they would like to represent us, and they will volunteer. It's very rare for us to actually seek out people, but you know, if it doesn't cross one of the two Costa Ricans' minds in the next few months, we probably will say, would one of you like to do it?
Okay.
And it's all.
And I'd like to just go back, if I can, to media interest and things. You've got to remember that we were in our heyday in the 20s and the 30s. That's the 1920s and 1930s. And because there were relatively few swims, there was immense media interest in those years. And that went on all the way through, probably until the beginning of the 90s, when it really became harder to get any publicity whatsoever. And then we were extremely fortunate again in 2005, when David Walliams came along and swam the channel and raised a huge sum of money for charity. And he was very much into the media. And again, suddenly the media has become very interested in almost every channel swimmer. But it's a different type of media, which I don't understand. And it's the media, you know, on the computer and things, as opposed to in the papers. So we've been very lucky, and you know, we get huge, vast amounts of media interest.
I have a swimming program I run in Cork, Ireland, and a couple of years ago, we ended up with 5 of our swimmers in the water on the same day. We call them our swimmers. They're everyone's swimmers, but 5 of the swimmers that were with us in July were in the water in August on exactly the same day. And the excitement on the WhatsApp groups and the you know, the information being exchanged between their friends and colleagues was amazing. And when it was all said and done, one woman, she ended the whole trail. She said, "I am going to be fired today. All I've done all day is flip between trackers and talk to you people, and my boss is not happy with me at all." And now she didn't get fired, but it was an incredibly exciting day. All 5 of them made it, but you know, you were up at 3 in the morning and you were still tracking the last one at 10 o'clock at night or whatever the time was. And so all of the investment in the tracker technology and the social media has really made a serious amount of excitement. I also swam in 2005, and I remember distinctly, you know, the home base lost contact about 2 hours into the swim. It was radio silence. And then the contact didn't come back until you were about an hour away from Dover on the way back. And there was this 15-hour period of just nothing. Nothing.
Of David Walliams.
Well, he had a helicopter. But and now you can see if the boat is slowed down in a 30-minute period. I mean, it's an amazing difference.
Yes, and it's interesting again that we also have the CSA newsletter, and you had a relay in June. I can't pronounce it, MNA, so you can pronounce it for me. MNA. Oh dear, you can't even pronounce your own.
I hope Peter's about to rescue us, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mna na Mara.
Yeah.
A 5 female relay. from Ireland in 11 hours and 39, guided over by Rich Prickle.
You see, and I mean,
Not Namara.
I was busy writing that up in our newsletter only this afternoon. So you get more publicity.
We have a list now, excluding relays. We have a list of more than 100 solo swimmers from Ireland. And on the international front, we define Ireland a bit different. We say, obviously, if you have a passport from the Republic of Ireland, even if you've never been to Ireland, maybe your father was born in America or something, if you grew up in the north, or if you did your training and your swimming while you were resident in Ireland. So we've got an American, we've got a Moldovan, we've got a couple of Hungarians, we've
claim anybody.
We got this assortment, and then we also have a list of all of the relays that had people from Ireland on them, and not as grand as your event, but the Irish Long Distance Swimming Association has an awards lunch every year.
Yeah.
About 120 people. And if you think your event is difficult, Mike, they're giving out about 200 awards in 2 hours. It's an incredible conveyor belt of events. Peter, are you doing more and more of your management meetings by things like Zoom?
Well, the board meetings from the Channel Swimming Association all go mostly since the COVID period. We've learned to use Zoom or Google Translate. So, and yes, most of our meetings go, and it goes well. You need a little bit of concentration if you'll have to lead it to see who wants to speak now. But yeah, we manage, and that's modern technology, and I'm in favor of it. It saves time, it saves traveling, so economically, but also it's a benefit for the nature and temperatures and the global warming. So even on that point, we are going forward.
I think you have the same difficulty I have when the clocks change every year. The timing in Australia and New Zealand, and it's just it's forever difficult to try to get the time right those couple of weeks each year when it's changing.
Well, even for me, it's already a problem because I'm 1 hour up front of my English colleagues. So
most of the time, sometimes not
all the time.
All the time.
Oh, okay.
When the winter time comes in here, it's winter time in England also. So we change at the same moment.
Well, listen, guys,
you learn to live with it, and if yeah.
So, guys, I want to thank you very much. I think the CSA is acting as a role model in many areas, but when it comes to an international flavor and taking the world into account, you really are setting the standard for organizations around the world. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ned.
Thank you, Ned, and thank you to IMSHOF to recognize us and being at our side. Thank you very much.